This evening, Guyana recognizes World Press Freedom Day with a two-day symposium. One person was killed and another was critically injured in a collision with a drunken driver. UncappeD returns after a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic. In the region, Cuba holds a massive mayday parade for the first time since the pandemic, and internationally, Uganda journalists decry growing crackdown on dissent. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. World Press Freedom Day is observed on May 3rd all around the world. In commemoration of press freedom, the government of Guyana, in collaboration with the Guyana Press Association, organized a 2-day symposium to demonstrate how far Guyana's media has progressed. As the story says more.
The Guyana Press Association commemorated World Press Day with 2 days of displays at the Artichon Foundation in Liliandal. The event highlighted the media revolution that has occurred in recent years. The head of state, Dr. Irfan Ali, spoke extensively about the importance of World Press Freedom Day.
What constitutes the press? Who is a journalist? We have some young minds in this room. And in the evolution of things, these are questions that becomes necessary. Men and women are free, but there are limitations to which one must exist in that free society. You're not free to harm each other. You're not free to destroy property. You're not free to destroy character. And that is why there are the laws. So freedom exists within the confines of laws and rules in a democratic society.
President of the Press Association, Nazima Ragabir, captured the audience's attention when she spoke on the obstacles and limitations that media workers continue to face.
Media houses to safeguard themselves, as well as the government to assure media houses and operators that such tactics would not be used to threaten the work of the media. The media remains a significant partner in the development and growth of any democratic nation. Our contribution can be seen as both a role in educating and advocating. We have seen the media in Guyana making these contributions through its interaction with communities and its reporting at the community level, as well as governance, transparency, and accountability. The media must be given the necessary tools to do our jobs. These tools come not only from media owners, but the atmosphere created and fostered in the country. We need assurances that we would be able to do our jobs without fear of intimidation and of threats. Most of all, the rights and freedoms associated with the work of the media must be respected at all times.
The Guyana Press Association has issued a statement in honor of the World Press Freedom Day 2022, urging the Guyana government to guarantee journalists and media outlets that it does not and will not use spyware like Pegasus. Individuals and organizations in the private sector are not exempt from this call. Partnership in the Communication for Development C4T is a theme for World Press Freedom Day. Kwame McCoy, Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility of public affairs, during his brief remark, had this to say.
The matter of press freedom has been well guarded and held sacrosanct. The global theme for this year, the press under surveillance, brings into sharp focus an opportunity for the press to introspect and for other stakeholders, including the government, to examine the status quo and the dynamics within which we all operate and seek avenues to chart mutually beneficial courses aimed at satisfying the national good. It is within that framework that we have adopted a national sub-theme for this year's observances: partnerships in communication for development. His Excellency I believe, will take a deep dive into the interrogation of that continuum. So let me here and now underscore the value we in government place on your work as practitioners. Often, many of you may feel under pressure and sometimes unappreciated, even from among members of society, particularly because of the sacrificial nature of what you do. I'm well aware that, like nurses and doctors, lawyers, teachers, firefighters, the police, yours is a task that often appears to have no boundaries.
World Press Freedom Day is observed on May 3rd to inform that freedom of the press and freedom of expressions are fundamental human rights. The day also provides a chance to pay tribute to media professionals who risked or lost their lives in the line of duty. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Faulty electrical wiring has resulted in a two-story building at Lot 189 West Rheinfeld Housing Scheme, Georgetown, to go up in flames during the wee hours of Monday, May 2nd. According to reports, the Guyana Fire Service received a call at 4:47 a.m. to alert them of the fire, to which the fire tenders were immediately dispatched. Upon arrival, firefighters observed the two-story wooden and concrete building owned and occupied by Shibiki Fernandez engulfed in flames. The building and its contents were destroyed, leaving the woman homeless. The reported cause of the fire is faulty electrical wiring, which resulted in arching and sparking, igniting and spreading to nearby combustibles. The Guyana Fire Service continues to encourage citizens to equip their homes with smoke detectors and fire extinguishers, and to adhere to safety measures to protect their homes and loved ones from fire emergencies. A Sobrinetville man is the latest victim of a road accident. Esther Sobers has the details.
Intoxicated drivers and speeding on the roadways continue to claim the lives of road users. A 27-year-old man was the latest road fatality. Dead is Ion McDacy of First Avenue, Sobrinesville, Georgetown, who was killed in two vehicles smash-up at the intersection of Sandy Bob Street and Vicingen Road at Camp Uganda in the early mornings of Saturday morning. Reports are that Moto GPTT 4136, driven by 37-year-old Roberto Norine of Petersall East Bandarara, was proceeding along the Vicingen Road, while motorcar PXX 4592, driven by 31-year-old Sheikh Bash of Dowden Street, Kitty. The driver of Jeep allegedly failed to come to a stop at the intersection, causing the two vehicles to collide. As a result of the collision, both vehicles were damaged extensively. The driver and occupant, Ion McDacy of the motor car, received injuries and were taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital by ambulance in an unconscious condition. McDacy subsequently died while receiving medical attention. Bash was admitted in a critical condition. Norine was given a breathalyzer test, which proved that he was far over the legal limit, according to police. He's currently being held in detention as part of the inquiry. The police are reviewing the accident's CCTV footage. Road users are encouraged to use the roadways in a safe manner to save lives. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Stick around after the break. Parfait Harmony proprietor detained after police on mobile patrol discovered cannabis in his shop, and UncappeD returns after 2 years.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands, and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to a juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is your civic duty and legal responsibility to apply for registration if you are eligible. When you do, you would be issued a national ID card and be listed to vote at future elections if you meet other eligibility criteria. Persons could be fined or sent to prison for refusing to apply for registration. Registration will end on May 29, 2022. For further information, please contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. Police ranks in Regional Division 3 on patrol in Parfait Harmony community arrested a 35-year-old man after 124 grams of suspected cannabis was found in a shop that the man operates on May 2nd. The ranks, performing mobile patrol duties in the Parfait Harmony Station District around 11:30 p.m., observed a 35-year-old man standing in a shop acting suspiciously. Upon inquiries, the ranks learned that the man was the shop owner. He was requested to subject himself to a search, to which he agreed. A further search of the premises unearthed a transparent plastic bag containing several Ziploc bags of leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis under the counter in the shop. The man was told of the offense and cautioned. He denied ownership of the suspected drugs. He was arrested and escorted to the Parfait Harmony police station along with the suspected cannabis. The cannabis was weighed in the presence of the suspect. It amounted to 124 grams. Further investigations are ongoing. Senior Superintendent Khalil Parishram, the commander of Police Division 4C, is encouraging business communities to install closed-circuit television cameras. He said the CCTV cameras help to secure businesses, homes, and society at large. It defers criminal elements from conducting incidents of theft. Once they see the CCTV, it gives them a 50-50 chance to commit or not to commit. Parishram appealed during a recent interview with the Police Force Corporate Communications Unit, noting that footage from the CCTV cameras has resulted in numerous arrests by the Guyana Police Force. Parishram implored residents in his jurisdiction to report incidents and urged them not to be afraid to report suspicious activities, as it can help curb crime. He reminded persons to use the 911 reporting system and respective police stations' numbers where there are issues that the police can assist in solving. Over the weekend, GMSA hosted UncappeD at the National Stadium, as the source explains.
After 2 years of hiatus due to COVID-19 pandemic, the Uncapped Marketplace event has returned. The Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association hosted the event on April 30th and May 1st at the National Stadium. Many enthusiastic Guyanese turned out in their numbers at the National Stadium Saturday to support local agro-processing businesses for the launch of local agro-processing exhibition, market and food festival. Wooden Words, Enchanted Gardens, Floral, I Am and Wild Rupinuni were just a few local businesses on exhibition. The variety of products ranged from candles, ornaments, jewelry, soaps, seasonings, spices, and dried and fresh fruits. There were about 107 small businesses at the exhibition. Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association Vice President Mr. Ramzi Ali, speaking at the launch, said, Uncapped was started 5 years ago by the GMSA to support small agro-processors of Guyana. Ali said he is grateful for the turnout of the local businesses and is looking forward for greater support from Guyanese when it comes to supporting local businesses. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Cuba holds a massive Mayday parade for the first time since the pandemic, and hundreds flee homes in U.S. Southwest as massive wildfire advances. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule sponsored by Antique and Modern Concrete Molding Establishments.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana.
The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees.
Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is your civic duty and legal responsibility to apply for registration if you are eligible. When you do, you would be issued a national ID card and be listed to vote at future elections if you meet other eligibility criteria. Persons could be fined or sent to prison for refusing to apply for registration. Registration will end on May 29, 2022. For further information, please contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. May Day marches in Cuba are rife with symbolism, a celebration of the 63-year-old Cuban Revolution and a government-led rebuke of the Cold War era embargo imposed on the island by the U.S. Inflation is soaring and there are shortages of everything from food to transportation. Despite so many difficulties, the majority of Cubans support the revolutionary process. Al Jazeera's Nusia Newman reports.
Long before daybreak, Cubans began walking to the Plaza of the Revolution. After a 2-year hiatus brought on by the pandemic, Cuba's Communist Party and government spared no effort to make this annual May Day march one to remember. Healthcare workers led the parade in front of revolutionary leader Raúl Castro. The still influential former president and his chosen successor, Miguel Díaz-Canel, standing side by side as a symbol of continuity. There were the familiar chants of loyalty to deceased leader Fidel Castro and against the U.S. government's decades-long economic embargo against Cuba.
We will defend our socialism, as we have for 61 years, for Fidel and Raúl.
Cuba is one of the few countries in the world that still marks International Workers' Day like this. But make no mistake, there's very little for the average salaried worker in this country to celebrate right now, because this country is witnessing one of the worst economic depressions in its history.
Intensified U.S. economic sanctions, the pandemic, and a monetary reform that has sharply reduced workers' purchasing power have led to soaring inflation and unleashed the largest exodus of Cubans since 1980.
The Communist Party continues to say that the state-controlled sector will save the economy, and it's not true. The young people all want to leave. They've lost all hope.
Cubans are expected to take part in the May Day March and are generally brought here from their place of work. But like Anibex, there are those who say they still believe in Cuba's system.
Because I'm convinced that this is the country that I want to defend. That's why I'm here, to support my leadership and my people.
And during these hard times, this march clearly aimed to send a message to domestic and foreign opponents that Cuba's government is still able to mobilize large numbers of its people. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Havana.
Hundreds of households in a historic city in the foothill of the Rocky Mountains are told to evacuate immediately as intense winds and bone-dry conditions fueled a huge wildfire burning on the outskirts of the town. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
The biggest active wildfire in the U.S. is tearing through drought-stricken forests in New Mexico, threatening homes and forcing thousands of residents to flee for their lives.
By 9 o'clock, 9:30, the smoke in the valley was so thick, you needed a butter knife to cut through it. So it came on really fast, and at that point, that's when the law enforcement came by to tell us to get out.
The fires are visible from outer space. Firefighters are dropping flame retardant from helicopters and building fire breaks with bulldozers. A high school gym has been set up as an evacuation center. The fire has burned for nearly a month, destroying 300 houses and other structures. Dozens of small towns have been evacuated in the rugged Sangre de Cristo mountains. Some residents in Las Vegas, New Mexico, east of Santa Fe, have decided to stay and fight the flames themselves.
This is my home. I got to protect it, I wet down my property, with a hose.
The weather forecast doesn't hold out much hope.
There's some bad winds coming up Wednesday night, Thursday, really strong. So it was, if they don't contain it by Wednesday, we're going to be in real trouble.
Large new fires also broke out in Arizona and several other states. According to U.S. agencies, wildfires have burned more than twice as much land this year as in the same period of 2021. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera.
Journalists in Uganda says it's increasingly hard for them to do their job because of the government's crackdown on dissent. Human rights group says it is part of a long-running repression of critical voices in the country. Al Jazeera's Harun Matassa reports.
For these journalists, working in Uganda is frustrating and sometimes dangerous. In March, their independent online TV station was raided by security officials. Journalists were arrested for what the government called cyber stalking and offensive communication. Some say they were tortured before being released on bail.
Anything in regards to broadcast was taken. Anything in regards to office equipment, from computers to even mere paperwork, even receipts for fuel. Everything was taken. That's why literally we closed, because as we move around you find, in fact, I'm sure you saw our team, as idle as it seems at our reception. We do not do anything.
Rights groups accuse President Yoweri Museveni's government of silencing critics. Museveni has been in power since 1986. The opposition say he has become increasingly authoritarian, cracking down on voices of dissent and harassing independent media outlets.
That it causes the attacks on journalists is, I think, sheer failure to appreciate the critical role that the media plays in a democracy, where the security and governments tend to think that once a journalist or media house carries a story that is not in their favor, they are fighting them and against them. They do not appreciate the critical importance of holding leaders to account, of exposing gross misuse of office and power.
Uganda's government says it is not trying to muzzle the press, but journalists can't be allowed to publish false news, commit libel, and fuel incitement.
They are not going to ignore a media house or journalists just because they are. So you're talking about incidences of crime and the security forces going in there, but it's not targeting the journalists.
But some journalists in Uganda feel the state is targeting them, and they say more needs to be done to respect people's rights to freedom of speech and expression. Harun Matassa, Al Jazeera.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.